Hi, welcome to Rights of Way Research. I'm Dr. Joe Thorogood, and this is step 3 of our 4-step process for identifying, researching and protecting at-risk public rights of way. If you're watching this video, it's likely you've already watched the videos on the threats to public right of way in England and Wales. If not, please watch those videos on our YouTube channel. Now you've made it to step 3, you've already identified an at-risk route, you've confirmed it isn't on the definitive map and statement for your local area, and have done some preliminary research using online historic maps. It's now time to find some more robust evidence to substantiate your claim. In this video, I'll briefly discuss different types of evidence and how you can use them to support your application. So what does this robust evidence look like? Well, first we have to understand something about common law. Most public rights of way were created by common law through the principle of once a highway, always a highway. If enough people walked a route, then that route became accepted as a public right of way. So, we're not going to find official documents that state, this document hereby creates a public right of way in this location. Instead, we must search for documents that explicitly mention or deal with the right of way in question. In official documents of this sort, the government or local authority is effectively saying we recognise and affirm that this track is a public right of way and will treat it as such. This sort of evidence is 10-star evidence. Examples include enclosure awards, quarter session records and stopping up orders. If you're not sure what these are, don't worry. Our guides and websites have much more information about each of these sources. 5-star examples include legal documents that make indirect reference to the route in question. For example, a tithe was a historical land tax paid to the value of 1/10 of the land that was collected by the parish. If you weren't making money on the land, you didn't have to pay the tax on it, so a footpath, bridleway or byway crossing your land would be exempt from the tithe. If we find a record of this exemption in a tithe record called an apportionment on our route, we can clearly infer that that route was a public right of way, otherwise it would not have been awarded an exemption from the tithe. 4-star evidence is also inferential, but less direct than 5-star evidence. For example, if we can find evidence that a public authority spent public money maintaining a route, this is good evidence of a public right of way, as a local authority may not spend public money on private land. Records from highway boards show these costs and often score 4 stars. 3-star evidence is a little murkier. If we find a document produced by a landowner with a right of way recognised in it, we can use this to suggest its status. We may also award 3 stars to evidence which exhibits a degree of public scrutiny. For example, the Ordnance Survey would invite the public and landowners to inspect their maps on certain issues such as parish boundaries. The proceedings would be recorded in a journal of inspection. These journals can be useful for arguing that a right of way was, in the past, viewed and affirmed by both the public and landowners. 2-star evidence is reputable evidence which shows the location of a route. OS maps and maps sold to the public fall into this category, and 1-star evidence refers to a literal depiction or description of the route. The job of the researcher is to find this diverse body of evidence and make sense of it all, showing the local authority that the rights of way legal status is beyond question. You'll need to photograph the evidence you can find in detail, and will probably have to travel to a local records office or the National Archives to find some pieces of evidence. Many are, however, online. For example, the Oxfordshire History Centre has digitised many of their tithe maps, meaning you wouldn't have to go and photograph them yourself. Now, all of this can seem like a formidable task requiring expert knowledge and time. That's where we come in. The videos and articles on this website will help you understand these historical sources, and along the way you'll learn about the fascinating historical geography of your local area while protecting these at-risk rights of way. When you've examined, photographed, copied and collated your evidence together, it'll be time to move to step 4 and prepare them for a Definitive Map Modification Order application.